G'day guys, how are we going? The ZD30 engine in the GU Nissan Patrol, well, it's probably more commonly known as the 3-litre hand grenade. It's had a bad rap for many years. So apparently, the ZD30 engine, it's been a ticking time bomb for well over 20 years. Once they reach 100,000 Ks on the clock, well, these things are meant to go bang. Well, that may have been the case in some of the earlier models, but here's one here that's going the distance. The ZD30 in my GU Nissan Patrol, well, it's smashing those 100,000 K ticking time bomb theories right out of the park, because this one here has just ticked over 400,000 Ks and still going strong. And let me give you the drum, it's got nothing to do with luck as to why this one is smashing those theories right out of the park and ticking over 400,000 Ks. All comes down to good management. So let's get into why that happened with this mighty GU Patrol. Now let's just go back a bit. I picked up this GU Patrol brand spanking new Friday the 8th of May 2009, right? Now the following weekend I was all set to go away with a bunch of mates to do the desert sands and border track in South Australia, but before going I wanted to get at least the first service in on this mighty GU Patrol before heading away to take on the border track. Now the first service, it was due at 1,000 Ks. You know, just a check-up service to make sure everything's all right, which is pretty much what they do these days, even with new vehicles. So the very next weekend, the very next day after picking up on that Friday night, I packed up the Patrol and headed off on a big loop right around the Victorian High Country just to rack up those Ks so I could get it serviced. And on Thursday the 14th of May 2009, the Patrol went in for that 1,000 K service and it came back with flying colours as expected. So I've still got all my original logbooks from when I picked it up brand spanking new. And here's that first service here. Due on 14th of May in 2009 at 1,344 kilometres. So that's how much I've racked up since picking up on that Friday night. So I just wanted to get that done before heading away on that trip with my mates to South Australia. So 2 days after that first service, I had this ZD30 revving its head off in the soft sands of border track in South Australia. Now who does that with a brand new vehicle? Well, I sure did, and I reckon that's maybe part of one of the secrets, which a few people have commented about that over the time that I've had this, that, you know, run them in hard right from the beginning, from the get-go, and they'll go the distance. Well, this one's certainly did that, and it's still going strong today. But I firmly believe why this engine has been so reliable. Well, firstly, I've had it since brand new, so yep, I know it very well and I know how it has been treated. But secondly, and probably most importantly, it has been very well looked after and serviced at all the required intervals. Now, right from day one, it's been serviced every 10,000 Ks, which is the required service interval from Nissan, right from new all the way through. And here's the 100,000 K service all the way through, and that was done on the 20th of the 5th, 2011 at 100,000 Ks and 32. So, you know, it's been serviced all the way through every 10,000 Ks and beyond. And then after reaching 200,000 Ks on the clock, well, I started doing then all my own oil and filter changes. And I've kept a logbook on that, oil changes book. I've got a book here, and on the, when did that start? So 206,000 Ks was done on the 12th of the 6th, 2016, and then I've followed that through about every 5,000 K intervals, give or take, and they're all pretty all the way through until now, where I've had that last service was done on the 1st of the 8th, only just a few weeks ago on 23 at 406,000 Ks. So, you know, the old girl, it's still going strong. But that's when I went from 10,000 K intervals to every 5,000 K oil and filter change intervals, well, give or take. But diesel engines, they absolutely love good clean oil, especially when they start getting a bit high in the K range like this one is, 400,000 Ks. So what's been done to this mighty ZD30 Patrol? Well, at around 308,000 Ks a few years ago now, I was on my way back from Fraser Island, and the bit of cardboard that's under the head gasket there, it failed. So I managed to limp it into a mate's place in New South Wales. I left it there and arranged a flatbed truck, and that is the one and only time this Patrol, over the years that I've had it, it's ever been on the back of a flatbed truck. So things that have been done now to this ZD30, the engine here, well, it's got the bigger intercooler, which is clearly obvious to see. It's got a thermo fan under there, which is temperature controlled to help keep the engine cooled, and especially the turbo. It's got a stage 2 turbo upgrade, putting out around 20 psi boost, but you know, I rarely see those sort of boost numbers. It's got a performance engine tune, catch can, 3-inch exhaust, and that's pretty much about it. And then inside the cab, I've got a few gauges in there so I can monitor and see how the engine's going while I'm travelling down the road. So I've got oil pressure gauge, I've got the turbo boost gauge and EGT gauge, the exhaust gas temperature gauge. And then something else that I've done pretty much from day one, when I go on a trip, I don't just switch the engine off. I allow everything to cool down, and I've done this pretty much from day one. So I'll let it run for a good couple of minutes before I switch the engine off. So not only let the engine cool down, but it's let that turbo cool down is one of the big reasons. Get some heat out of it and let it all cool down. But you know, there's people who've probably got things like turbo timers where you can turn your key off, but the engine keeps running for a good few minutes, but you walk away and just leave it running. Well, I think there's a few issues maybe with insurance companies not too keen on that, because you've got to walk away and leave the engine running. So I've decided I'm the human turbo timer, and I'll just wait. I'll sit there and wait till the engine cools down to after a good few minutes, then I'll switch the key off. But you know, this isn't the only ZD30, the 3-litre Patrol in the GU that's out there and still going strong. There's plenty of them out there, and even with higher Ks than what this one's got. But it all just comes down to a good management over the time when you've got it. Keep those oil changes up, filter changes up on those regular basis. But if you're looking to buy a GU Patrol, a second-hand one, because you can't buy a new one anymore, they're all finished up. But if you're looking to buy a second-hand 3-litre in the ZD30, well, make sure you get your mechanic. Get him to check it over and make sure the engine's all sound and been well looked after. Or if you're lucky enough to find one that's got a good service history like this one's got, that's certainly going to give you a really good idea on how that engine's been looked after over the years that someone else has had it. And then it's going to serve you out going forward. So there you go, guys. That's my mighty ZD30. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you later on. Bloody ripper, I reckon it is. Hooroo.